Museum family and friends, and welcome to our Try It at Home experience. I'm Abby, a museum educator through the AmeriCorps program here at the Providence Children's Museum. And today we are going to be making elephant toothpaste. Have you ever wondered how an elephant might brush their teeth? Well, they don't need to brush their teeth in real life. If they did, using a human toothbrush wouldn't work. This would be way too small. They would need to use an elephant-sized toothbrush. And for an elephant-sized toothbrush, our human toothpaste would also be too small. They would need some elephant-sized toothpaste, which is what we're going to make today. For this experiment, make sure to ask an adult for help in gathering your supplies and help in doing the experiment. You want to make sure you're in a safe, clean environment and that you're not somewhere where it's going to be too much of a mess. And if it does get a little messy, I always like to have a towel on hand to clean up any spills. For our experiment, you will need a clear plastic bottle so that you can see what's happening inside, a nice tray to catch all of our toothpaste. We wouldn't want to waste it, the elephants need that. Some hydrogen peroxide. We would need some liquid dish soap, which we have right here. We would need a little mixing bowl. I have mine as a little mixing cup so that I can more easily pour it into my bottle. But a mixing bowl works as well. We are then going to need some yeast, which I have right here. You want to look for dry, active yeast. You can usually find this in the baking section of a supermarket or grocery store. You will also need some warm water. You want to make sure it's not too hot, but you don't want cold water. Nice warm water. Anything that's comfortable to the touch, put your hand in it. And then you also need a ½ cup measuring cup. You will also need some measuring spoons, specifically a measuring spoon for a 1 tablespoon. You don't need these for the experiment, but you can also use food coloring to give it some nice toothpaste colors. You don't have to, that is an optional step. And you can also try it with different shaped bottles and different shaped containers and see how the toothpaste changes. First thing we're going to do, we're going to place our plastic bottle inside of our tray. You want to make sure it's right in the middle so it doesn't go over the sides and that we can still see what's happening. The next thing you want to do is you take our ½ cup measuring cup and we're going to pour in some hydrogen peroxide. It might take a little bit, but that's a-okay. We just want to make sure we take our time and do everything correctly. Slow and steady is better than fast and speedy with lots of mistakes. I always like to do this over the tray, so that way if any spills out, it's somewhere that we're already going to be cleaning up later, rather than on a table or on the floor. Once you have that, you're going to pour it slowly and carefully into our bottle. If you need a little bit extra, you might have seen some of mine spilled out of my measuring cup. So I'm going to pour just a little bit extra into our bottle. Perfect. Once you are done with that, we're going to add a big squirt of dish soap into our bottle. Mine is a nice green color, so we see it as we mix it in. We want to make sure there's plenty of soap. So we can swirl it all around in the bottom of the bottle, and you'll see it's nice and soapy. We want lots of those bubbles. The next step is, if you have food coloring and you want to add it in, this is the time to do it. So I'm going to take my food coloring, and we're going to pour it right along the top, just a little, so that it will drip down the sides. I have chosen to use blue and red. So I've just put in our light blue. Now I'm going to put in our red. I'm going to put that right here. And then on the opposite side, I'm going to put in our dark blue. You'll see it drips down the sides of the containers. That is exactly what it's supposed to do. Okay. We've got our food coloring in. Our next step is that In our separate mixing bowl, we're going to mix in 1 tablespoon of our yeast. Carefully over the top of our mixing container. Measure out my yeast. Make sure it's about 1 tablespoon. If it's a little less or a little more, that's okay. We just want it to be right around 1 tablespoon. Once that's done, I'm going to pour it in. We're then going to take our warm water and we're going to mix 3 big tablespoons. If you think it looks like not enough, you can add 1 more scoop. We're going to take our spoon and we're going to mix it up. You need to mix for about 30 seconds. So I will see you in 30 seconds. Okay, now that it's nice and mixed, we are going to take our measuring cup and we are going to make sure our bottle is right in our tray. We're going to pour in our yeast. We're going to watch as our toothpaste starts to squirt out of our bottle. Whoa! I'll make sure I turn it so you can see that cool toothpaste coming out of our tube. And that looks like the perfect size toothpaste to fit right on our toothbrush. Now you might be wondering, how exactly is that happening? What is the science behind our elephant toothpaste? What we are seeing is a chemical reaction, which is a process when 2 or more elements are mixed together and it causes some sort of change. In this case, what happens is our hydrogen peroxide that we added, also known as H2O2, because it has 2 hydrogen molecules and 2 oxygen molecules. Naturally, this will break down over time. It might be very slow, but it will slowly break down over time and become water, or H2O, and oxygen, which is just O. When we added our yeast, it sped up the process, so we were able to see it happen much, much faster. And our dish soap that we added captured the air as it was separating from the water, creating our cool, soapy toothpaste. If you were to try this activity at home, what might you change about it? Maybe you could try adding some different colored food coloring, maybe some glitter or some cool things inside the bottle to see if they end up on the outside with the toothpaste. You might try using different containers, all to see how it would affect the outcome of our elephant toothpaste. If you want to share with us a picture of what you created, ask your grown-ups to share a photo of your elephant toothpaste on Facebook or Instagram using the hashtag PCMCreate.